Building downtown. Building downtown. Building downtown. Building downtown.
Let's go. Hey, yo, it's the Building Downtown. You can follow us on social media at The Building DT. You can follow and subscribe to the show on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm your host, Jason Kelly. You can follow me at JKellyMMA. You can follow my co-host, Kirill Kasatskiy, at Kirill Raps. My other co-host, Amy Barton, at Ames Bell. So real quick, before we get into today's guest, just a quick housekeeping note. As you may have noticed, some of the people who watch the show on a regular basis, the few video versions we have had out, we're in a different spot right now, but it's because we're moving to a different location. So don't worry, you won't be looking at the fucking dartboard for long or just the blank ass back wall. We're gonna have a nice setup the very next week or two. So just hang tight through the next few shows. But anyway, on to tonight's guest. Let's get into it. He's a real smooth talker because he's a Queens, New Yorker. We're about to have more good times with Jimmy Walker. Matt McCann, how's it going, my man?
What's going on?
Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure, man. It's been nice getting to know you a little bit, leading up to the conversation, and I'm excited to be here.
Certainly, and we're excited to have you on for a few different reasons. You cover a lot of walks of life that we have on this show, right? Not being a battle rap show, but let's start at the beginning. Like I told you, Queens, New York. And Amy,
Yes,
you
sir.
said I'm old. I'm not going to give away his age, but he's older than me, so stop fucking picking on me.
I mean, you're still fucking old.
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna just own it. I'm gonna be 42 in November. There
Right.
we go.
See?
Yeah.
That's
So
how you do it right there.
you grew up in the heart of hip hop, like at the birth of hip hop. And I know, like you said, we've got to talk a little
Wow.
bit.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I was born in 1979. Hip hop was born about 6-7 years before me. On Sedgwick Avenue in South Bronx, courtesy of DJ Cool Herc. I've mapped it though, and one of the apartments my dad grew up in is about 1/8 of a mile away from where that first party happened. So even though I'm not a Bronx native, it's in my DNA.
Yeah. Okay. So
That's pretty cool though still.
yeah, no shit. And you, like, from the conversations we've had, hip hop was like the music you were in. There was no figuring out what the fuck you liked, and then you found hip hop, from what I understand. Right. Day one.
Yeah, I mean, well, I grew up with my parents' music. The big station in those days was, for the oldies, was CBS FM 101.1.
Okay.
And that was like a lot of 60s and 70s folk and rock.
Okay.
And that was my, like, early influence for sure. But once I went about picking my own music, I made a beeline, right, for rap. But I mean, my first love is hip hop for sure. But I mean, I'm also very well versed in Irish music. I'm 100% Irish. I listen to an Irish music program every week for like 4 or 5 hours.
Shit.
I love the music that my parents exposed me to, the folk music from the 60s and 70s. And my dad was he was a big fan of the music that hip hop sampled in its early ages. So that was really cool having those records available, because I would hear the cuts. I'd be like, I know that song, that was because my dad had James Brown records and that kind of stuff too. So
Yeah, hip hop's definitely into a lot of sampling, right?
Yeah,
A lot of classic sampling. That's how they.
oh my gosh, yeah, for sure.
Look at Kanye. He built a career on that.
Yeah, shit.
So hip hop being your first love, you Queens, New York, and
Yes, sir.
we got Run DMC mid 80s, early to mid 80s.
Yeah, right.
Right, like that, and then so on from there, late 80s as you got a little bit older, early 90s, even before we had it came to a point where the rap stars became the real rock stars. But for a while they weren't that, right? It was more of a localized thing. So do you remember, like, say back a Run DMC or a Big Daddy Kane or anyone on the New York scene where they were like part of a local buzz before what they became, which is now hip hop legends, obviously?
I guess it's kind of hard to tell because you only know what you know when you're 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So they were that, even borough by borough. Like I didn't know anything about Big Daddy Kane because Big Daddy Kane was in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
granted, he was, on MTV. I didn't even have cable then.
hmm
And so like, but we knew that like Run DMC was 2 towns over, Salt and Pepper was 1 town over, and then it kind of, Southside Jamaica, which is not an area, it's no fucking joke.
yeah.
An area like, I mean, when I ended up in Southside Jamaica, it was, it was on fucking accident. But it was, but at the same time, it was a 15-minute drive away from my house, so I was very
Yeah.
conscious of that. The real thing that brought that locale into sharp focus for me was when I was like listening to A Tribe Called Quest and realizing that like I lived on 254th Street, and they were talking about 190. So the 192, the Bully Fran Lou, it's like that's 60 city blocks away. That's roughly three miles. So like, under 10 minutes in a car. I'm like, these are my fucking idols. And I was wild. Yeah. So it was a great place to grow up if you were a fan of hip hop. And almost like vice versa. How the fuck could you not be growing up,
Mhm.
No shit. Yeah. So that's actually what I was going to ask you. So the influences were very, very heavy in like that local scene because like the people that came out of there, we already mentioned a bunch of them, but then the list just went on and on and on with the
forget it.
and the Mob Deep. Like it didn't fucking quit.
Right? I mean, Mob Deep, Nas, Akinelli,
Ollie Vegas,
Large Professor, Eric B. and Rakim from Long Island. Public Enemy was from like Hempstead, which was a couple of towns over. I mean, it just it was a hotbed, absolute hotbed. All the native tongue stuff, De La Soul.
So yeah, like you said, even if you couldn't even not be a fan of it if you wanted to. Like it was just just so much of it there.
Yeah, especially where I went to grade school. So I went to grade school in Queens, and it was just like that was the only music that was discussed. Period.
You guys were overwhelmed, and back home we used to fight for a tape, man. It was hard to come across, because I grew up in East Ukraine in Russia, right? Like not a lot of shit made it over. Some Biggie, some Tupac afterwards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then
you get some pairs of Levi's,
you know what I mean? So you get a tape of something you never heard before, and it gets passed around the whole neighborhood. People getting fights and shit. It's like I was next. What the fuck?
That's wild. That's wild.
Oh yeah, man.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I just wild to like think about where, almost took it for granted, the access, Yeah.
Who are some of the acts you got to see live first? Like even before they were big acts, or maybe if they were already big acts, like from that area.
I mean, I definitely I've seen Tribe.
Nice.
Like how old were you then? Like teenager?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, teenager for Tribe. I never got to see Run DMC in concert, which is a shame. I saw Wu-Tang and the great thing about Wu-Tang was you could go to a Wu-Tang show or you could go to a Ghostface or a GZA show and they would all fucking show up anyway. So it didn't even matter. I mean, without fail. Like, so whether you were paying $100 to go to see Wu-Tang or $25 to go to see GZA, you got everybody pretty much.
Yeah.
And obviously there would be more concentration on his solo stuff, but they just so that was cool to see. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's a lot that I'm like not even remembering, because the interesting thing was with the concert going really started a lot in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I was no longer in Queens. I was taking the train in from Queens to Manhattan for high school. And although I went to Regis High School on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. It was a all scholarship Catholic boys school, and basically it's like the best high school in this. I mean, I'm gonna say you can double check this, but it's the best Catholic high school in the United States. So it was an opportunity you did not say no to. The interesting part about that was the melding. So we had people coming from all the boroughs, but then there was a little bit of like heterogeneity. So like on the one hand, I had like friends from Harlem, and I was getting tapes that like fucking Big L tapes. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Nice.
tapes.
Shit.
You know, like
Cassettes.
but then like you also had like 75% white, which was not at all what I was used to for Queens. So like the concerts were more like rock concerts. So when I was like at my peak concert going age, like most of my peers were like, and don't get me, I fucking loved them. Weezer, Green Day, 9 Inch Nails. I mean,
all that
I loved all that. I loved all that stuff too, you know, but it was just, it wasn't, it was at a time in my life where it would have made perfect sense to be going to more rap concerts, but because of the peers that I were with and what their tastes were, and I explored new music because of them, so I don't regret it at all. A lot of indie rock, and a lot of grunge that I probably, wouldn't have otherwise gotten into if I just stayed in Queens. But I'm jumping around. I'm sorry.
No, that's
good,
the whole
man.
fucking point, man. We go wherever the hell we want. That's how we end up in unexpected areas.
That's right.
Motherfuckers giving classified information out.
You're making me miss the city. I hate you.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I just moved out to, speaking of which, I'm missing it too. I just moved out to the Detroit area. I'm rocking my Michigan hat.
Sure are.
Yeah, we moved out here. So I live 41 years in New York, and my wife is from out here in the Detroit metro area. And we decided it was time to try a new pace of life in a new place, and her family's all out here. So I'm missing the city too, although I've only been away from it for 3 months.
Let's go back before we get too far ahead. So
well, when you're this fucking old, there's a lot of there's a lot of territory to cover.
Big fact.
Queens, did you live in Queens? You didn't live in Queens up until you moved to Michigan, that's correct?
Correct. I mean, I did live within a mile of the home I grew up in Queens until I moved to Michigan.
Okay.
And so there's like the Queens, the eastern end of Queens is the western beginning of what people call Long Island.
Okay.
Long Island is for you Canadians is a body of land off of New York, and it's made up of 4 boroughs: Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk. But when people talk about Long Island, they're really only referring to Nassau and Suffolk. Brooklyn and Queens are considered part of the city.
They're talking about Montauk, is what they're talking about.
Yeah. You're right. Exactly. So I live nowhere near Montauk. I lived a couple, 5-10 minutes away from where I grew up in Queens up until I moved out here. But I've lived all over Brooklyn and Queens.
Okay.
Wait. Where'd you live in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I lived in so for law school, I lived in Williamsburg. So that was like kind of right on the cusp of when I started to price people out. So I paid like $600 a month.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. I paid $600 a month.
Jesus Christ.
It was me and my 2 buddies, another guy that was at Brooklyn Law with me, and then the third dude was at Fordham Law. And we had the second floor of a tenement. The fucking toilet was in a different room than the sink, and they were both off the kitchen. And we had to walk through each other's bedrooms to get to the living room or the kitchen. But like we were in the hotbed of hipsterdom. I'm not there. We weren't even hipsters, but it was fucking great party town. And the rent that we paid, like the interesting story about that apartment. The day I moved out, the guy who owned it realized what he was sitting on and how like cheap, how little rent he was charging us.
Mhm.
He had a crew in to gut the place. He did it over brand new, and the last I heard, he was renting out for double to one person. It was like a member of the rock group Nada Surf and his girlfriend were living there.
What the fuck?
Dude, I was
Yeah.
paying nearly 3 times that in East Flatbush.
And did you have your own apartment, or that was an apartment
No,
share?
I had my own apartment, but still.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so figure in Williamsburg at that time in '02, you probably could get your own place for $1,000.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. I know.
So the explosion of G Unit, obviously from Queens, Southside
Sure.
Jamaica, Queens.
That
They
must
did-
have been.
They never just got at that time. Obviously, fucking that explosion was massive. I can't think of anything else that matched that kind of explosion.
They were like
What
the
did
Beatles, man.
Jay-Z said,
I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 cent? That? Oh.
Jay-Z said 50 came through like
Hurricane
hurricanes do.
do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man. But
No, that was it, man.
see,
That-
he hasn't got claimed over the years. I find like Nas does. Like that's Nas's fuck. He's Queens. Fucking owns him. They stand behind him. But I
Yes.
find I don't hear that preached as much with 50. There's in that Queens local scene? Is he claimed as one of like a Queens guy the way you guys claim Run DMC or claim fucking many of the LL Cool J or many of the other motherfuckers from there?
It's a good question. I think so. I mean, I think 50 Cent, he even kind of like talked about it on the Get Rich or Die Trying. It's kind of like he rapped like a little bit like of a Southerner, like a rap with a drawl a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta be honest, like off the bat, if you take G Unit, when I think of Queens, I associate Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks much more with Queens than I do with 50 Cent.
See what I'm
But
saying?
that could but the part of that could be because of 50 signing with Shady so early in his career.
Mhm.
He never got to
And-
be local, right? He just went to superstardom,
Well, that right, yeah, bingo.
right?
Okay.
He
That's
he
what
never
it
played
is.
the local scene, and Banks and Yayo
Right.
stayed back, right?
I mean,
Okay.
right. So, but he did in a way like the mixtape when he had that song about how he was gonna rob everybody.
Yeah, how to rock.
yeah, hold on, yeah.
That was very local.
Yeah.
And they very much mentioned specific people in the 5 boroughs.
Yeah,
Like,
but I
this
mean,
motherfucker
is
is gonna
it
rob me.
as artists, they usually put in a lot of years of work before they make it. You know what I mean? And he he spiked pretty quick, right? He spiked
Yeah.
really quick.
He spiked pretty quick. He struck while the iron was hot. He came off a near-death experience. Em and Dre heard him, and they saw gold. And but yeah, I think that is probably true. It was like whereas like Tribe dropped People's Instinctive, and and whatever the rest of the name of that album is. I always forget, but their first album was 1989. They were still living at home in Queens on Linden Boulevard. Maybe
right.
like
See,
their mom got a new sofa, or they got some rims on their fucking Honda, but like, and then they kind of came up organically, and it wasn't really until like the Low End Theory money that they were like balling,
Mhm.
and they were never, and for Tribe balling was,
Yeah.
what I mean was that they probably were able to buy houses and that kind of shit.
Yeah, it wasn't Cash Money Millionaire fucking records type ball.
Right, not at
Yeah.
all, never
Mhm.
was. But
No.
so yeah, I don't know. Tony Yayo though, it always struck me as more of a Queens dude than 50. But listen, I didn't get shot fucking 16 times selling crack in Southside Jamaica, Queens. So
So what? Because I know you've obviously you're involved with No Coast and you've battled
Yes.
before. I know you're into. I don't know if you make music, but you have told me about a song that you have made, at least one. So what stage did you start getting into dabbling with it? Whatever side of was it actually? Have you only been on the mic side of things, or have you ever fucked with beats too?
Oh, so actually I did both in college. My buddy Ryan, who came, we met at Cornell.
Okay.
So I went to college in upstate New York, in Ithaca.
Oh, shut up! I'm from Shenango County.
Oh yeah. So that Ithaca was fuck, I can't remember. Cayuga County, I think.
Yep.
So he came out there from Los Angeles, and he came from, like, I don't know all the hoods in LA, but the way he explained it to me, that it was a big deal. Not only that, I mean, it was a big enough deal that he just fucking graduated. Never mind that he went to an Ivy League college. So when his mom was like, well, "What do you want for your high school graduation?" He got like the Dr. Dre, whatever the beat machine that Dre was using, or like maybe like a model or two behind, but he had the fucking real deal. And he showed up, we met, and he actually wound up pledging and joining my fraternity. We met, I guess, when I was a junior and he was a freshman, and people were like, "Yo, did you know Ryan raps? Did you know Ryan raps?" Because they knew how much I loved hip hop. And then I just started spitting freestyles for him, and he was like, "Yo." And so we used to take over the sound system in the fraternity basement, and we would just go down there by ourselves on weeknights and record. So I was learning from him how to make beats. We were smoking blunts, drinking beers, and up to like all hours of the night in the fraternity basement. All of our fraternity brothers thought we were crazy, and we were, that was some of the most fun I had in college. Was I learned a little bit about the beat making. He really was the expert. But that was at a time where I was rapping and recording and writing on a very regular basis. And that's really the last time that I put like a lot of energy into that piece of it.
Okay. Why'd you get out of it? Just life, the other things in life going on?
Law school. Listen, other people have been able to keep it up, and my hat's off to them. But for me, law school, and then working while I was in law school to pay the rent, for books, for food, all that normal shit. There wasn't not a whole lot of time left. And he was even though I went back to Brooklyn, you would think the hotbed of hip hop, sure, but I didn't have like that friend with that beat machine with the access that we had.
Yeah.
So there was actually a year where I was going up, actually, right after college. When I graduated, before I started law school, I would take the bus up to Ithaca on the weekends sometimes so we could perform and make music together, because he still had the studio hook up like through his PC at the time. But yeah, it kind of fell off my radar, and then you start working a lot, and then you get married and you have kids, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was just making beats in the basement.
No shit, eh?
Yeah.
Making big fucking beats
Exactly.
last
Now I
fucking
gotta,
week.
like,
What the fuck
change-
happened?
I know. And then all of a sudden I'm changing diapers, right? So,
Yeah. So where did well, first of all, where'd your love for battle rap come from? Because that had to come before your involvement, obviously. So where did you start getting into that?
Yeah, no, that actually kind of dovetails pretty seamlessly from the changing diapers thing. So now
Nice.
and you'll see why in a moment. So now I'm home a lot. Well, I'm either working, which is a lot. When you have kids, then when you're not working, you're at home.
Mhm.
You know, when they're young, you're changing diapers, you're on their schedule for feeding and the whole show. And I remember like very early on in my son's life, I was a Friday night. It was clear we were not doing anything fun for a very long time to come. And I started Googling like best freestyles on YouTube.
Oh wow.
And when I tell you that when I went down a rabbit hole that has led me from that child who's being diapered
Mhm.
at the time is now in 6th grade, so he's 11.
Okay.
I mean, that led me down a hole. I found Kid Twist,
Okay.
Callahan, Pat Stay, The Saurus, and Iron Solomon.
That's a good fucking
And then
lineup.
I started,
That was a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
shit.
and that was like, then it was like the lights went on. I'm like, they are fucking battling like they did it like back in the day in Queens in the playground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Much better, granted, you know, much better. But yeah, so that's how I went down that path. And then I was a consumer for a long time, a watcher,
Yeah.
you know. I really got into KOTD
Okay.
off the bat. That was like all I watched for a while. And I guess grind time was kind of dying out
Yeah.
at that point. So that would have been like 2010. So King of the Dot was like 3 years old maybe then, and grind time was on its way out. And then it just, you know, it just kept
Kept
I mean,
rolling.
I kept rolling. I could talk for longer, but I would babble. So I mean, you know, guide my fucking senile thoughts. You know,
So how does your involvement with battle rap?
how does the involvement begin? It
Yeah.
becomes because I become interested. I start getting into. I used to be a lot in Talkback, the KOTD group.
Yeah, the Facebook.
And
yeah.
And I'm less and less in that one now, although I'm in it. But like, I was like a fucking KOTD super fan.
Okay.
And then then I kind of got to know Organic and Gully through that, and the Saurus and Caustic and Nestle and Kid Twist and Bender, like, because I would just, you know,
And
in
then he
there and
abandoned us all to only live in his No Coast group.
oh yeah, right. You know what though? But also fucking KOT Talkback kind of became a fucking cesspool at points too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cleaned up now, but it was
It-
for a while.
It was for a while, and I don't mean that as a reflection on the league. I don't think the league ever dipped.
No, it was the fans.
I just think that the Facebook presence dipped.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just whatever. You found out you see, since I had that experience of rapping and writing and recording, even though it was for no money and it was just for fun, I had spent enough time doing it that I appreciated what these guys were doing on a level that I don't think you could if you hadn't at least tried.
Okay.
If you hadn't fucking rapped 8 syllables together on another 8 syllables and then done an internal rhyme with them and then try to make it sound good on a song a couple of times, I think once I had that experience, that made me appreciate what they were doing was
How much
so
work really
good.
goes into it?
Oh, forget it.
Right?
Absolutely.
We broke down each battle is pretty much a mixtape.
Yeah, the material of like
the amount of bars and the amount, you know what I mean? If you break it down into bars and structure,
that makes sense.
Structured into 16s, you know what I mean? It's going to be pretty much a mixtape.
I
much a mixtape.
I forget what battle it was, but it was like 3.5 minute rounds per battler.
Yeah,
right.
you know what?
It's
That's a really good point, and that brings up a really good point too. Because I always said, Jadakiss is one of my top 5.
For sure.
Maybe every once in a while he slips into the top 10. But like his albums, I don't know. Like his studio albums are not that good.
I agree with
He is
that.
he's a mixtape rapper. Surprise, surprise. Look, who fucking dominates verses. He dominated verses on verses he wasn't even on. He dominated. So when you talk about battles being mixtapes, I think that's one way we've seen it kind of come to fruition. Like people talk about, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this industry guy, Eminem, fucking Jadakiss would murder almost
See,
anybody.
that's what I'm saying too. I think Banks would do good too.
Yeah, I do.
You know what I mean?
I do.
But a lot of people keep telling me
everyone was amping up his last album, and I don't know, man.
I liked it better than The Hunger for More too. To be honest.
No, I hear you.
The first Hunger was good. The second one, I don't know. And I liked his last album. But the thing, the reason I'm saying that is because him and 50 and the whole G Unit, when they came out, they were pretty much battle bars. You know what I mean? It was all I'm a warrior. Fuck you. All of it.
Right.
All of it. You know what I mean?
Yo,
so that's why I'm thinking somebody like Banks would be like I would not want to see 50 battle. But Banks I think right. But Banks I think would have done well.
Yeah, I mean, also right. You go back to like the mixtapes that were coming out. I mean, Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo's mixtapes, the ones that I used to get, the Canal Street mixtapes. Get the hard copies of like 04, 05, 06. I mean, they were fucking on fire back then, and yeah, I think it would translate well. So there is I really like that analogy that a battle is like doing a mixtape.
Yeah, it's about that much content.
Totally.
The same amount of content. Yeah.
Totally.
What about artists from up here? Any of them that you like? I know actually you told me like Drake is one that you're into.
Yeah. Remember that? We talked about that?
Yeah, no shit.
I was listening to Champagne Poetry, getting all fucking amped up for the interview.
Wow.
We were not.
Yeah, no, I know. I do want to address that, but I want to speak on the thing, the something that we agreed on. So I think we both agreed that we didn't like Mad Child, right?
Fuck no. Just not. I was not a fan of the Swollen Members. I liked him in the Daylight battle. Battle. I'll give that. That's it. I thought he battled Dirtbag Dan. Mad Child, he's battled a few times.
He battled a few people. Yeah, he's actually pretty decent.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. The Daylight battle was decent.
Yeah, he did all right versus Dirtbag Dan too.
But
yeah,
his music's just not for me.
It just depends if he's high or not.
Merc.
I like Mercules.
Yeah.
I like
Mercules is a great rapper, man.
I've been liking his freestyles, of late for sure. And then we talked about Bender, right? Flight Distance. That is
amazing.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite rap out of Canada for sure.
Yeah. Bender is insane. Bender is like a fucking an actual like an artist in all fucking meanings of the word. Like fucking
100%.
Yeah, you want something on Cannabis? You want me to do some open mic poetry? You want me to make some music? You want me to write a book? What the fuck do you need? I got you. Like
he can even cook.
I didn't know that.
Well.
I'm not fucking surprised though. Fuck man, he was what a fucking gem. Gone way too early.
Yeah,
way too fucking early.
Yeah,
way too early.
But I could talk about him for a while. Just I guess a lot of respect, and he's really missed. It's a big hole, I think, probably in the whole Canadian hip hop scene, and definitely for all of battle rap
all over the world.
Yeah,
for battle rap.
Yeah,
incredible.
So just it's It's a goddamn shame.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, and that like I know, like when we were talking, you said you like Drake. That's never fucking surprising. Like he's just fucking, and it's not even like I don't fucking like I hate people like, oh,
Yeah,
you're a hater. No, I just don't like the music. It's not that music is not for me.
But you understand now my fucking pedigree, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
It's about to get real right now.
Yeah, it is.
Explain yourself. Show your work.
So I'm not like, oh yeah, my favorite rapper is Nelly and Snoop Dogg. I mean,
fucking Chingy.
What I don't understand. This is the part that I don't understand. The part that I don't fucking get is that motherfucker can rap.
So
he
rap.
Can fucking rap.
Then I want to hear him rap.
He does all the fucking time.
It's not for fucking me.
It's not. I think.
I mean, 6 a.m. What is it? 4 a.m. in Toronto. He's got 4 tracks on the last album where he's rapping better than almost anybody out. I think people go into it with a closed mind.
Definitely.
It's not even. It's you know why that happened? That happened because he came out making R&B female records a lot. So from that point, it was hard to take him as a rapper, right? And then people coming out saying that they've
wrong.
I know, but that's when he
on those same albums, those same albums, he was rapping his fucking ass off on different tracks.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
He's never released a project where he wasn't rapping as good or better than his peers.
That might be so, but his singles are with Rihanna and shit, and you know what I mean, and that's the acceptance you get, because not a lot of people are gonna go get, like, if you're like Kelly, that's what he's saying, right? Like he'd be listening to a certain kind of hip hop, right? So he sees singles from this guy and he's like, I'll never listen to that. He's just not gonna look into an album. He's not gonna hear the album cut that is a rap, right? Because he's gonna hear the album cuts that are made for girls to buy records.
That's his loss.
So certainly you have an opinion on Donda versus Certified Lover Boy, then.
Well, yes, I do. I was watching a Joe Budden interview earlier today, where his point, this was actually an interview from 2017, so Donda wasn't even part of the conversation. And what he said, which is what I still agree with to this day, is that Kanye West has 3 classic albums, and they are the first three.
Yeah.
The first 3.
Yeah.
And that's
first 2 for damn sure for me, but I mean, I get what people
yeah,
say.
we could argue the third, but after that, it's fucking avant-garde and, ballsy, and I'm sure some brilliance in there, but like when College Dropout dropped, my first thing is, what is this producer doing making a fucking record?
Yeah.
And I said that to, like, I was at a party with 3 DJs. They were like, obviously you haven't listened to the fucking album yet, dude, because that thing is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, all right, those are people that whose opinion I trusted. So then fast forward, that's all I listened to. Winter, spring of 2003 or whenever it came out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely Certified Lover Boy over Donda. But I think.
Nope.
But I think. Wait, am I? Oh.
You're good. You're good.
But I think J. Cole's album is better than Certified Lover Boy.
That's what I'm saying. Now we're talking hip hop.
Yeah, man. I love J. Cole.
See, like that's what I'm saying. And J. Cole and Drake, I would say they're pretty. When we're talking about rapping, their skills are pretty closely matched. But when you talk about J. Cole, you think rap right away. When I hear Drake, I think R&B right away. To me, you know what I mean? That's just that's just how he's presented.
I mean, I think. Listen, no one can fault you for thinking that way.
No. It's just the way he's being presented. I understand.
Yeah, he's being packaged. He's being packaged.
He's being packaged for girls, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
pretty
I
much,
agree.
because that's what makes money, and there's not like it. I'm such
he knows it.
I'm such a fan of
He
hip hop
knows
that I've listened to fucking mumble rap trying to figure it out. I couldn't I couldn't
I'm
get
the
into
same
it,
way.
but I still listened to it, and I was just like, there's got to be
Yeah.
something here that people like. I couldn't find it, but
Right.
you know what I mean.
Exactly.
So
I'm the
I
same way. I'm like,
even if I don't
I
like it,
try
I'll
not
listen
to
to it.
write it off.
Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
try
saying.
not to
So
write whole
I definitely give
pieces
Drake
of-
his respect, but I think J. Cole's album was a different to me. Like I would, if there was even a like, that's not even a choice.
Yeah, I respect that for sure. For sure.
You know what I mean? But like I said, you got to give Drake his flowers. He does. Apparently he was saying that one of his strongest skills is writing. So if he writes, if he wrote at least 80% of the shit that they released, then he did very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing about that whole ghostwriting thing is that, I mean, when you're at the level that he is at, inevitably
some sort of collaborating has to go on, right?
Well, I wasn't even gonna say that, frankly. If you're the fucking top dog, the top earner, you're just the target. Everyone's target.
True enough. But he sort of admitted it. He said that this is how his music is made. You have to collaborate and do right. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think you're gonna catch Jay-Z or even 50 Cent saying that anybody wrote anything for them at the same time, right? So it's
well, if anyone wrote 50 Cent's raps for him, they should be fucking fired.
Hey, he's good at making catchy hooks and bridges, bro. You can't take that away from him.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if someone's getting paid to write his lyrics,
never lied.
What about Ja? Is he one of the Queen's finest? I forgot about him. Ja Rule. Do you guys claim him?
Oh man, I don't know.
I
don't know. I mean, listen, that shit was when that was on the radio in 01 and 02 and it was being played on Hot 97, 105.1. I didn't change the station.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I agree, though. But hold up, though. Like you can't disagree. After that versus last week. Like, I'm not gonna say that looking back, like Ja was so much better than he was, but like,
right.
50 did do a number on him. Like, I forgot, and I liked Ja back then. Like, I forgot how pervasive he was at that time.
Oh yeah.
Because here come 50, right? And then like it wasn't until the verses came through that I was like, God damn, dude! Like he really did railroad that man.
Oh yeah.
He
ruined his career. He fucking ended his career. There's no question.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it like that when it was happening. Like I never liked 50, so for me, I was kind of like, all right, bro, like whatever.
Got it.
Whatever.
Irv Gotti
like,
was. Sorry,
in hindsight, that's all. Like in hindsight, I was just like, yeah, man, like he was like that dude back then. I knew it back then, but I didn't think about it since then.
Yeah.
Ashanti, them, that the whole Murder Inc. Irv Gotti was saying that 50 Cent destroyed a pretty much $1 billion company.
Yep. Pretty much.
That's mean.
You know what I mean? That's why he got shot and stabbed and shit. They got really upset.
Yeah.
No. But just for a point of clarity, he was shot before all that.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Before all that. But he should have been shot again probably a few times.
he got shot over some real street shit, not fucking rap beef.
Yeah. That was.
I thought he got set up. He got shot. He got shot by Supreme's people, right? Or no?
Yeah, but
Supreme was
that could be true. That could be true. But
he was on Columbia then.
Yeah, and that's what
could have been because he was pissing off the wrong people in the drug game, though.
Yeah. And then it was the Supreme was extorting Ja, right? That's what they were saying, anyways, right? So that's what 50 was saying.
Everyone got a piece of Ja. Yeah, Ja Rule is just like a tragic character.
Fuck. Holy shit, that's fucking funny. But back to battle rap. So because we were there at one point.
Yeah.
No Coast. We almost got to how you got involved with it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No Coast. All right. So I was like meandering away, straying away from Talkback. I was in the Cat Mob group, which
The
was
fuck is that?
basically, yeah, exactly. Good question. So Cat Mob was basically like a battle rap Facebook group that was very sick of all the nonsense and like ego and fucking machismo and all the other groups.
Mm.
It was really basically like we're all just here to enjoy battle rap, and I think also there was an early association with Carter Deems. Um, so through Cat Mob, um, I met Bill Blaze, um, who's the head of No Coast New England. I met um, all the No Coast guys. So Shake, Breakneck, um, and we all became friendly, and it was me and Blaze and this guy Jonathan Scott that's since dropped off the scene. He wound up fucking forming his own company and making a lot of money, making like coils for vapes. He got in like he had a skill and he got in like right when those things were taking off. And so he
Nice.
has his own, yeah.
That's
Damn.
what I
And
say.
then
You got to come up with something small and sell it to everybody.
yeah,
That's the best thing.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be the best at being best at making that little piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he did that, and then we were like, we were friendly through this Cat Mob Facebook group, but we were like, we want to do something, right? So we basically put together a $500 pot and had the Cat Mob 64 person video battle tournament. This is pre-COVID. We were doing it over video just because we couldn't afford to put events together. But we had a lot of No Coast people that got involved.
Yeah.
And I think the final battle, I forget honestly at this point, but like I think XQZ was definitely in it. He may have won it.
Wow.
And it was $500 on the line. I put up like $200 of my own money.
Oh, nice.
And that's a theme that comes up again and again. And yeah, people started taking it seriously because there was $500 on the line, and I think Jay Scott, Billy Blaze, and I realized that like we had some momentum, and then they wanted to start their own thing. We started East Coast Connection Media, ECCM, and that was initially was going to be almost like we envisioned it as a full 180 360 view on battle rap, have interviews, do best of, because Jay Scott was great on the editing, and then maybe do some video battles. But Blaze, Billy Blaze, that's my brother, he really had the most heart and the most interest in it, and he made it a traditional battle rap league.
Mhm.
And so that started about 4.5 years ago. We had our first event up in Massachusetts. And so what happened was we had this concept that we were going to be an online presence, and then it kind of evolved into another in-person battle league. But it was based out of Massachusetts because that's where Blaze lived. And he was the one that was willing to put the time and energy in, to running it. I helped him. I still help.
Mhm.
But I then I got to the first event, but for me to like pack up my family, bring them up to Massachusetts, get a hotel room for the night, it's like an ordeal.
Mhm.
So I kind of helped from New York from a distance, and then I want to say a year and a half ago, we had kept those connections with the No Coast people tight. and they frequently came out and performed at ECCM events, and so then we became one of the divisions of No Coast. And it was pretty seamless because I mean nothing changed. We still had the same group of battlers, and we already had the friendship with the people at No Coast. So now No Coast has, I believe, 4 active divisions: Chicago, St. Louis, New England, obviously, and I think there's
I'm not even sure.
I think there's a 4th one also in the Midwest. There was like the talk of having one in the UK. I don't think that ever got off the ground, but it's been cool now because then we kind of have that like camaraderie slash not beef, but like it's like intramurals. We had division wars over the summer, so we put like our best guys against their best guys, and but each league continues to have its own. Each division also continues to have its own events. So, but now I'm in Detroit and I'm starting to get involved with Bar Wars here.
Oh shit! Okay.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys know Bar Wars.
Yeah, we heard about him.
Yeah.
So they have a.
What level of involvement are you gonna have there?
It's gonna evolve. I don't know yet. So the guy that runs it, Sean Morrison, him and I talk all the time. And I went, I've been to the only event that they've had since I've lived out here. And, we're talking about not only battles, but also I'm doing cannabis law out here. And we're talking about maybe, working together with some cannabis companies to help sponsor the events. And then they get a table they can set up at the event and advertise their product. So we've got a couple of irons in the fire there. I mean, I'm very, very green to the Detroit scene, but
what the fuck?
Oh my God, I wasn't even trying to tell a terrible dad joke, and I did. That's how old I am.
I get it now.
And then, but Bar Wars, that's a beautiful thing about battle rap. Okay, I go to this event on east side of Detroit. I've never been to that hood before. I've only lived, when I went, I had only lived out here for 4 weeks. I rolled up. The guy that ran the league, Sean, who had asked me to come, greeted me with a hug. And 2 other people were like, "Oh, I know you. You're the guy that made the post about this and that." And we're talking. I mean, I made friends within 5 minutes, and that's an awesome thing, seeing that in action. I've had it happen at events in New York, definitely at iBattle events. But for it to come halfway across the country, show up solo to an event, and then, be greeted so warmly, that's a beautiful part about battle rap for me.
Brings people together, right?
It totally can. It absolutely can.
It's such a niche that if you like it and somebody else like it, you gotta have a lot in common.
I think that's right.
Right, because there's no other way. You're not gonna get along with somebody who, you know what I mean?
True. I never thought about that before.
It's such a specific thing.
You like when men rehearse poems and then
yell them at each other's face.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is a niche. I mean, so that's the No Coast thing. How long I stay involved with No Coast New England and transition to Bar Wars, if I even ever do, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
The thing that I've tried to do in No Coast New England, other than doing whatever Bill Blaze asked me to, because that's my brother, is the new guys coming up, just giving them pointers on promo and confidence building and, building relationships there. So the league feels like a family. And it's been, a beautiful, beautiful part of my life. And so, if I go with something out here, just because it makes geographic sense, it'll be no love lost. We'll just see how things evolve over time. I mean, right now I'm still, running the No Coast New England Twitter account and admin on the Facebook group, and those are my people. And I'm starting to get to know the people out here in Detroit. I mean, because part of it for me was I was coming 41 years in New York, coming to a place where only people that I knew were my in-laws, and I love my in-laws, but that's like, my brother-in-law, his husband, my father-in-law, and my mother. That's 4 people. So, I wanted to see where else I could maybe put down roots.
And you mentioned they're using your career as something that could help with bar wars. Cannabis lawyer. There's no way
Yes,
you went
sir.
to school and signed up for fucking cannabis lawyer. So what exactly did you go to school for, and what exactly does being a cannabis lawyer entail?
So course law was criminal law, and then I interned with the U.S. Attorney's Office, which are the feds, in downtown Manhattan. And I also did a full year as a student prosecutor for the Kings County DA, Brooklyn.
Aw.
I did gangs, pretty crazy shit. But I used my kind of what I learned in school, and then I did a clerkship after, where I did a lot of criminal cases, like basically when people are locked up and they're trying to get out on habeas corpus is what it's called. Basically they're trying to attack in any way possible their conviction or sentence. So those I reviewed and then wrote to the judges like these long memos about why they should or should not uphold the convictions.
Oh wow,
That's pretty serious, man.
Yeah, it was an awesome first job. I did do a stint at a Wall Street firm not doing criminal law, but then I moved on, and probably my favorite, certainly one of my favorite jobs I had was I worked for 7 years as like the right hand man to one of the best criminal defense attorneys in Manhattan. So,
who's that? Can you tell
gentlemen,
me?
I'll leave it. I mean, it's on my resume.
Well, I don't have your resume.
Well, so I'll fucking send it to you.
We got our first application, guys.
Shit.
Yeah. And so I did criminal defense for like 7 years, and I loved it. And then I dabbled in a few different things. The last 4 years have been a bit of just a little bit of a mess. I'll be honest. I've had some great opportunities, without a doubt. I did get to do special education law for 1.5 years, which is something very near and dear to my heart because my younger son has severe special needs. And then, but kind of also on that same wavelength, he was my younger son who has a severe special needs. One of his disabilities is epilepsy. He has a rare form of epilepsy. So he was part of the pilot study for the first ever medicine that contained CBD, so part of the marijuana plant, to ever gain FDA approval in the United States, and it treats seizures. And so him being a participant in that led to the test results that led to the FDA approving it, which is a huge breakthrough because in the States, at the federal level, marijuana is still I forget the classes, but it's still a registered narcotic. You can get convicted for it now. So, but it's patchwork because in the 50 states, the states can decide what they want to do. And so in Michigan, they first legalized medicinal marijuana, like I think in 2016, maybe even a little bit earlier, like 2014. And then in 2019, they legalized adult use recreational marijuana for 21 and over. And so what that means is that over the last couple of years, it's been like, you're calling it the green rush, essentially. Everyone's trying to get in on it. And
Well,
so
it's gold mine, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, and so it's just been a really cool time to get involved. And I mean, I have that personal connection with marijuana because of my son, right?
Do you smoke?
But I don't smoke because I'm an alcoholic, and so I'm 6 years 9 months sober.
Oh, I thought you were fucking
Congrats.
joking. I'm
No,
sorry. I'm
congrats,
sorry.
bro. I get it. I
I thought you were saying you choose
Yeah,
alcohol over weed. I'm sorry.
no.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. I'm just gonna explain. So
Yeah.
I never really had a weed problem per se, but I made a decision when I stopped drinking and I started with AA that I just wasn't gonna smoke anymore.
Okay.
But that was just me. You know what I mean? That's not like
I just got
I think.
I just got my 1 year medallion too, bro. I got
Oh,
my
that's fucking
one.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
a hard year, man. Good for
I'm on
you.
my
God
way. Yeah,
bless.
thanks, bro. So I hear you there.
So
man.
anyway, I'm like, but I'm still full supportive of marijuana and all its medicinal effects. And for the people that use it responsibly, I love it. And so my son, and then the other thing is, for me, like my politics, and I don't, it's getting late, and we probably don't want to go down that road too far. But I mean, if you look at the history of criminalization of marijuana in the United States, it was basically a way to put black and brown men back in jail. Period. And it's like
War on
stated
drugs
pretty.
too.
Yeah, the war on drugs too, 100%. So, the fact that that was the reason, it wasn't because it really hurt people or anything. It was a decision that was made politically to figure out for white and probably not even just Republicans, white old men figuring out how to put young black and brown men in jail. Well, let's criminalize marijuana. So I'm for anything that is for decriminalizing and legalizing it. I am not one of these people that think we should be in Amsterdam and and think everything should be legal. But I also do other types of law. I do real estate and I do environmental. And I'm gonna try to see if I can do the special education law out here in Michigan. But that's in the very early exploratory stages. So, but yeah, man. So that's the path. So if you want to become a cannabis lawyer, it's very simple. Go to law school, you study criminal law, and then 15 years later, you randomly move to a different state, and then you get a job, and then you. So it's,
all right, before we let you get out of here, obviously all of us KOTD fans, all been paying attention to season one.
Please.
What are your thoughts so far on the season, on this this brand new thing we've never seen in battle rap before? Trying a whole season with points, win-loss records. We got playoffs coming up in the near future. What have you thought is the way it's rolled out over the past about 15, 16 weeks?
I think on balance, it's been great. I think that as any new venture, any new experiment, it's not been without its hiccups. But I think on balance, it's been great. I think it's another example of the forward thinking of Organic and Lush and Gully and the other guys and women they have surrounding them, pushing that company forward. For me, that's number one league in the world.
Me too.
Definitely.
You know,
It's no fucking-
that, you know, and people I know, URL, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't deny URL's presence and importance. That would be silly.
Oh yeah.
But my personal favorite league in the world is KOTD, and the league, you know, that I feel has really been gathering steam in the States as a like main stage competitor to URL is RBE. I really
Yes.
like what RBE is doing.
Yep.
And then of course I have the leagues that have a special place in my heart. I battle. When Lex bought I battle from Fresco for a certain amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I reviewed that contract. You know, that's how close Lex and I are. And what he's done with that league has been so inspirational. So that's another platform that I have. You know, so for me, yes, I get it. I get that URL is important. And listen, there are some battles that they will only URL will have the cash to make happen.
Yeah. For now.
Right, correct. 100% correct.
And
right?
and plus two, it's never been KOT's thing really to go look for those big names just to be a draw. Cannabis was the one and only time, and that was Organics publicly admitted that was a fucking mistake. And we had Gully on. Gully was talking about it like, yeah, fuck that. We tried that once. It's not worth it, right? And if they're gonna do something fucking crazy, look who they bring in, Oxymuron, right?
Yeah,
like that
was dope
crazy.
though.
Right, that's
dope.
what I'm saying, right? That's
dope.
If they're gonna get nuts, they'll do some shit like that, right?
Yeah, right.
So they might not even be a thing
So-
of down the road. We see big names on there. They don't fucking want them. I mean, like names
Right.
outside of battle rap, right? Or like even like a Cassidy or some shit.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't see them ever bothering. But let me get back to season 1 for a minute,
Yeah, man.
okay?
Yeah.
Because I want to say that their Dunch is an iBattle guy.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he was a student at Brooklyn Law School when I was an adjunct professor there. So I got to know him.
Huh.
And the guy's, he's as fucking smart as they come.
Huh.
And his intelligence comes through in how he executes in battles. Eddie I, Team Salsa, his music is fantastic. I don't know if you ever checked it out.
Mhm.
I highly recommend it. Another iBattle representative on season 1. And then you've got some of my absolute favorites of all time coming out of the West. Caustic, Pass, Thesaurus, Reverse Live, Mad Flex. Those 5 right there. I mean, those are 5 of my favorite battlers, period. Not in KOTD season 1, not in the West Coast. Like, those are 5 names when if they're battling, I'm either paying to watch it or I'm watching it the moment it drops.
Yeah.
So to have them all involved is pretty dope. So I think I don't know if there'll be a season 2. I will also say I'd like to think there would be a season 2. I will also say I'm surprised by the fucking number of people that have dropped out when there's $100,000 on the line.
I know.
Right. What do you think about that Matt Hoffa shit?
You know, I don't know the whole story. Well, wait, hold on. I thought he had COVID.
Yeah, and then people were speculating, like nobody with any credible sort, like fucking name or anything. Just people were starting to say that they think it was like a fucking paid setup from the beginning, like fucking Smack fucking paid Math to try to fucking jerk KOTD around. Said. I mean, Lash One wasn't out there saying this. It was nobody with a fucking credible name, at least that I saw. But that's
So I don't
that's
believe-
what came
so
through the
as-
rumor mill.
Yeah. So as it stands right now, I don't put any weight in that at all.
Yeah.
I believe that the man got sick.
Got COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It just-
unless there's some sort of fucking evidence, you have to give him that benefit of the doubt and really hope that he
Yeah.
wouldn't fucking lie about something like that that's killed so many people,
Right.
right?
Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, right. It's
What
like
you
one of
gonna say?
those things like it's like right. Either he's not lying or it's fucking inexcusable.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. What were you gonna say, Chris?
And
I was just saying that it looked weird, right? Like the way the whole
Yeah,
thing
yeah, it
went
played
down
out.
with Hoffa, right? That's why I asked.
What
you.
else? What else did you guys think has looked weird? I mean, a lot of people are upset about the Rosenberg World
Rosenberg?
losing.
Oh, Rosenberg won that, and it's
Yeah.
fucking. I don't like
mean-
seeing people online like talking down or talking shit to City Towers. He didn't fucking have anything to do with
No,
this, right? Like,
not at
it's
all.
not his fault. But Rosenberg won the fucking battle, definitely.
Yeah,
Right. Like, and
but that just means that there's things that need to be
They-
tweaked in the
That's
judges.
exactly it, because I've been through this before with a different kind of thing, but the judges were involved, right? And it was still a rap competition, and it's gonna take some time for the judges to be worked out, where the judges are super credible, you know what I mean? They've done their work, they put in their work, their word actually means something. You know what I mean? Right now it's a little too loose, and they're working that out. Like they had a problem there with Diz and Frack, right? Though a lot of that was up in the air arguing. Now they're-
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and
I
another,
mean-
but they worked that out, right? So these hiccups need to happen when you do something new, right? Otherwise, you're not gonna work out the bugs,
mhm.
right.
So-
No one ever did anything perfect the first time they did it.
Yeah.
right?
I will say right now though, I tweeted this. I am once again putting my hat in the ring to be a judge.
Oh shit,
you-
are you? I'll spread
Yeah,
that
man.
message.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, I have too many people that I like and I'm friends with in the thing for me to possibly be biased.
Mm.
I assume you still follow Thesaurus. Did you see that string of tweets, that thread that he shared maybe yesterday about judging and how they think that how that person thinks that the qualifications for judging should go?
I did not see that thread. Now I know he's not on Twitter anymore because
No.
he got banned so many times.
Yeah, 8,000 times. Yes. No, I'm not sure where he grabbed the screen caps from, but the
Oh,
short version
I
of the story
didn't.
was that it was this lengthy threaded string of thoughts from a person that I'm not sure who even it was. I don't follow them, but the gist of it was that they were like, we shouldn't be having bloggers, media people, battle rappers, battle rap fans, writers, rappers, any of these people. Like, if you want to model this after like the UFC or boxing, which is all the parallels we normally see when people talk about battle rap, then you need to be bringing people in that are judges that have nothing to fucking do with anybody, who know how to not be the fucking point of attraction, who know how to not be public. If you go out and Google Sal D'Amato, like who's a UFC judge, you won't find him online. You won't find information about him. You won't know who he knows. And like that was kind of the basis of this. Very long
But
thing.
is that a thing with every UFC MMA judge? I mean, or
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah,
it is.
You're not
yeah.
you're not going to find information about these guys unless you know somebody that knows them.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the whole thought. And obviously, like Thesaurus has big thoughts on the judges. And so
Yeah.
he shared that. And I thought it was interesting because we've even back in the Grand Prix, we've had a lot of talks with a lot of people about like, well, it should be battle rappers because they are the only ones that know how the experience goes. And then maybe if it's a media person that's not biased, that's great because they are not a battle rapper. And like the whole thought behind this string of thought was like, it shouldn't be anybody involved in any way. And if you, Matt, were like involved, you need to not be on Twitter and you need to not publicly be friendly with these people. And you need to not have any kind of fucking hat in any ring anywhere ever. I mean, what do you think of that? Like, do you think that's even possible?
Well, I don't. Who the
Fucking
who
how?
the fuck would want to? Who would care?
No shit.
No, like honestly,
How do you do that?
if you take away all of that, then like, why are these men screaming at each other?
Yeah.
Well, no, the judge is just like
I award you no points and may God have mercy on you. Type of shit. I don't understand how you can have a judge of battle rap that's not enmeshed in the culture and not I don't know. That doesn't sit with me either. I'm not saying that I have the perfect answer, but
Sure. I'm just curious because I feel like I agree with the concern of like there's always going to be some intrinsic bias. I do
sure.
agree with that, but at the same time, even just having some level of awareness and like involvement, even peripherally, is critical to even understand what you're hearing.
I think so. I think that last part is yeah, that part is very crucial. And then then you thread that line because it's such an interactive sport, right? Where I mean where fans and battlers regularly interact and different people battle on different leagues and are cool with different people. Like the people, it's like who's gonna have that level of appreciation for the intricacies of the craft that also isn't gonna like know some of these dudes. I don't know how you find that.
The IJC taking care of the judging. Have you contacted them about
I mean,
getting
yeah, I tweeted at them and said my references.
Send them your resume.
Yeah. Exactly, my battle rap resume. That's a podcast or something, right?
I think it is actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So, I am getting beckoned inside.
Yeah.
And I think I'm starting to scare the neighbors that I'm seeing with the lights on in the driveway. I would like to talk for another hour and a half, to be honest.
We can do this again, man.
Exactly. I'm sure we'll do it again in the very near future.
All good things must at least come to a pause. So
yeah, man. So is there anything you need to plug? Tell people where to find you, anything like that before you get out of here?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Clash_WS. That was my graffiti name from grade school.
Nice.
That I wrote all over the boys' room stalls.
See, we never touched on the graffiti part of it.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that too.
And then No Coast, New England. Join the group. We have an event coming up. I think we don't have something coming up till December at this point, but it's going to be a big one. And rest in peace, Bender, man.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the time, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming to man.
Soon enough, my man.
Thank you all very much.
Right. For Kirill Kasatskiy, Amy Barton, Matt McCann, I'm Jay Kelly. This is The Building Downtown. We out. Peace.
Building downtown. Building downtown. Building downtown. Building downtown.